Section 1. The Permanent Tattoo Trap. You have seen it. Maybe you noticed it for the first time this morning, or maybe it has been there for months, slowly growing, slowly darkening, haunting you every time you look in the mirror. Picture this. You are getting out of the shower. The bathroom is steamy. The mirror is a bit fogged up. You reach down with your towel to dry your legs, or maybe you are sitting on the edge of the bed, pulling on your socks to start your day. You look down at the inside of your ankle, right in that soft hollow just above the ankle bone. There is a patch of skin there that looks wrong. It looks dirty. It looks like you walked through a muddy puddle in the garden and forgot to wash it off. It is a brownish, reddish, rusty discoloration that stands out against the rest of your skin. So, what is the very first thing you do? It is almost a reflex. It is human nature. You think, my goodness, I haven't cleaned myself properly. You grab a washcloth, you grab that bar of soap, you get down there and you scrub. You scrub hard, you apply pressure. You think, I just need to clean this off and it will be fine. Stop. Right now. Put the washcloth down. Drop the soap. That is the single worst thing, the absolute most dangerous thing you can do for your legs right now. I need you to listen to me very closely, as if your health depends on it, because in many ways it does. This is a mistake that sends thousands upon thousands of unsuspecting people to wound care clinics and emergency rooms every single year. That brown stain, it is not dirt. It is not a deep tan from the summer. It is not a bruise that is going to fade away in a week or two. It is basically a tattoo that your body is creating from the inside out. Your body is essentially rusting. If you keep scrubbing at it, or worse, if you ignore it thinking it's just old age spots or dry skin, you are setting yourself up for a catastrophic disaster. That brown skin is dying. It is suffocating. It is starving for oxygen. As it gets darker, it changes texture. It stops feeling like soft, pliable human skin and starts feeling like wood or old, dried-out leather that has been left in the sun too long. It gets tight. It gets shiny. It loses its hair. And then it cracks. Once that skin breaks open, it does not heal like a normal cut. A normal cut heals in a few days with a Band-Aid. This can stay open for months, sometimes years. It becomes a portal for infection that can threaten your entire leg. It is called a venous stasis ulcer, and it is a living nightmare you want to avoid at all costs. I know that sounds terrifying. It should. I am telling you this to scare you just enough so that you stop the scrubbing immediately and start treating the real problem. But here is the good news, and there is very good news. That rust is just a symptom. It is a smoke signal. It is a sign that a faucet is leaking inside your leg. If we turn off that faucet, we stop the damage. We can stop the rust from spreading. We can keep that skin intact. We can save your mobility. I am going to show you exactly how to tighten the plumbing, save your skin, and keep you walking without pain. Section 2. The plumbing problem, gravity versus you. Let's get the mechanics sorted so you know exactly what you are fighting against. Forget the complicated medical textbooks and the Latin terms that doctors love to use to confuse you. I want you to visualize your body as a house, specifically the plumbing in an old 2-story house. You have 2 main sets of pipes running through this house. First, you have the arteries. These are the delivery pipes. They bring fresh, oxygen-rich blood from your heart, the pump in the attic, down to your toes, the basement. That job is easy. Gravity helps with that. It's like pouring water down a slide. It wants to go there. Your heart pumps and whoosh, the blood flows down to your feet effortlessly. But then you have the veins. These are the return pipes. They have the much harder, much more ungrateful job. They are responsible for bringing that used oxygen-poor blood, full of waste products, back up from the basement to the attic to get recycled. Think about how incredibly difficult that job is. Your ankle is the furthest point from your heart. To get that blood back to your chest, your body has to push a column of fluid 4 or 5 feet straight up, completely against the relentless pull of gravity. It is a long, vertical, uphill climb. It is like trying to push a boulder up a hill. To help with this impossible climb, your veins have a secret weapon. Inside these veins, every few inches, there are tiny little valves. Imagine them like a series of one-way swinging saloon doors or trapdoors. Here is how it is supposed to work. When your heart beats, or more importantly, when your muscles move, the blood shoots up through the door. Whoosh! As soon as the blood passes, the door is supposed to swing shut. Clang! It seals tight so the blood cannot slide back down. It is a ratchet system. Up, click, up, click, up, click. But here is the tragedy of modern life and aging. As we get older, or if we spend years standing on concrete floors for our jobs, or sitting at desks for 40 years, or if we carry a little extra weight, those doors take a beating. They are mechanical parts, and like any mechanical part, they wear out. They get rusty, they get floppy, the hinges wear out, the edges of the doors don't meet in the middle anymore. They don't seal tight. So what happens? Gravity wins. The blood shoots up, but the door doesn't close fast enough. The blood leaks right back down. It flows backward. This is what doctors call venous insufficiency or venous reflux. Now imagine a water balloon. If you keep filling it with water, but you never let any water out, what happens? The rubber stretches. It gets thin. It bulges. That is exactly what is happening to your vein. The blood pools at your ankles because it can't get back up the hill. The pressure builds and builds and builds. Section 3. Why it looks like rust. This is where the stain comes from, and this is why it is so crucial that you understand the chemistry so you stop trying to scrub it off. The pressure in those lower veins gets so high, like a garden hose with a kink in it, that the vein walls become porous. They start to weep. They start to leak. Microscopic amounts of fluid and actual red blood cells get squeezed out of the vein through the stretched wall and into the surrounding tissue of your skin. It is like a pipe sweating behind a wall in your house, slowly rotting the drywall from the inside out. You don't see the leak at first, but eventually you see the stain on the wall. Here is the kicker, and this is why the color is so specific. Red blood cells contain a protein called hemoglobin. You might remember from school that hemoglobin is what carries oxygen. And what is the central element of hemoglobin? Iron. That is why your blood smells metallic. It is full of iron. When those red blood cells get squeezed out of the vein and into your skin, they die. They aren't supposed to be there. Your body's immune system sees them and says, "Clean this up." It breaks down the red blood cells. But the iron? The iron stays behind. The body has a very hard time clearing that iron out of the skin tissue. It settles there. It oxidizes. What happens when iron sits in a damp environment exposed to oxygen? It rusts. That reddish-brown stain you see on your ankle? It is literally iron deposits. It is biological rust permanently staining your skin from the deeper layers upward. The medical term is hemosiderin staining, but rust is the most accurate way to think about it. That is why you can't scrub it off. It is not on the skin, it is in the skin. It is a deposit of heavy metal that has settled into the tissue like a tattoo. Scrubbing it just rips up the fragile surface layer while the iron sits safely underneath, untouched. Micro-CTA. I want you to do a quick check right now, even if you are sitting down. Cross your legs and look at the inside of your ankle, right above the bone. Do you see a reddish-brown discoloration? Do you see tiny red dots, almost like cayenne pepper, sprinkled on your skin? Or maybe a patch that looks like a fading bruise? If you do, I want you to comment yes down below. I want to show everyone watching that they are not alone in this. This is incredibly common, but nobody talks about it, and that silence is dangerous. Section 4, the vein cement secret, open loop. So, we have established the problem. We have leaky pipes. The valves are shot, the pressure is high, and fluid is seeping into the walls, causing this rust. The standard advice you will hear from almost every doctor, nurse, and well-meaning friend is wear compression socks. And yes, socks help. They are great tools. They act like a brace for the pipe. They squeeze the leg from the outside to stop the vein from expanding further. They help fight gravity. But let's be honest with each other. Compression socks are a hassle. They are hot in the summer, they are itchy, and if you have arthritis in your hands or a bad back, they are an absolute nightmare to put on in the morning. More importantly, socks are an outside fix. We need to fix the inside. We need to reinforce the walls of the pipes so they stop letting those blood cells escape in the first place. We need to patch the leaks from the interior. Most people do not know this, but you can actually strengthen the structural integrity of your blood vessels through your diet. But, and this is a big but, it is not the usual vitamins everyone talks about. It's not just eat more salad or take a multivitamin. There is a specific plant compound that acts like vein cement. It tightens up the gaps in your capillaries. It makes the vessel walls less permeable, meaning less fluid and fewer red blood cells leak out into your skin. It essentially helps seal the pipe from the inside. It is found in a very specific old-fashioned breakfast food that most of us stopped eating about 30 or 40 years ago. We traded it for processed toast, bagels, and sugary cereals that dissolve in milk. It is not vitamin C, though it works best when you pair it with vitamin C. It is a specific bioflavonoid that is incredibly powerful for vascular integrity. I am going to share that specific breakfast swap later in this video, and I'll give you a simple way to prepare it. But here is the catch. You can eat all the vein cement you want, but it will fail if the blood isn't moving to begin with. You cannot seal a pipe that is under explosive pressure. We have to relieve the pressure first. We have to restart your second heart. Section 5. Your second heart is asleep. I mentioned earlier that your main heart, the one in your chest, pumps blood down, but it is terrible at sucking blood back up. It is too far away. The suction power just isn't there. So your body was designed with a backup system, a second heart. It is your calf muscle, specifically the gastrocnemius and the soleus muscles. This is not just a muscle for walking, it is a hydraulic pump. Every time you take a step, your calf muscle contracts. It bulges. That bulge squeezes the deep veins running through the center of your leg. That squeeze shoots the blood up toward your chest, forcing those valves to open. It is the primary engine for your circulation. Your heart handles the arteries, your calves handle the veins. Here is the problem, and it is the root cause of the stain on your ankle. This pump only works when you move. When you are sitting in your recliner watching the news, or sitting at the kitchen table working on a puzzle, or sitting at a desk typing, or sitting in the car driving to the grocery store, that pump is turned off. It is dead silent. The blood isn't moving. It is sitting there, pooling, stretching those veins, and leaking that iron into your skin. The more you sit, the darker that stain gets. The rust accumulates because the cleaning crew, your circulation, is on a break. We live in a sedentary world. We sit to eat, we sit to travel, we sit to relax. And every minute we sit, gravity is winning the war against our veins. You cannot treat brown stains if your calf pump is asleep. You need to wake it up, and you need to do it frequently. But don't worry, I am not about to tell you to go run a marathon or join a CrossFit gym. You don't even need to stand up. Section 6. The gas pedal reset. You might be thinking, great, but my knees hurt, my back hurts, my balance isn't what it used to be. I can't go for long walks. That is absolutely fine. You do not need to join a gym. You do not need expensive equipment. You can activate this pump while you are sitting down, right now watching your favorite show. We need to mimic the mechanics of walking without the impact on your joints. We need to manually operate the pump. I call this the gas pedal reset. Here is exactly how to do it. I want you to try this with me right now. Try. Sit in a sturdy chair, your dining room chair is perfect, or even your couch if you sit up straight. Place your feet flat on the floor. Scoot forward a little bit so your thighs aren't pressed hard against the chair edge, which can cut off circulation. First, keep your heels planted firmly on the floor. Lift your toes up toward the ceiling as high as they can go. Really pull them back. I want you to feel a stretch right down the front of your shin. Hold it for a split second. This stretches the calf muscle, preparing it for the contraction. Then drive your toes down and lift your heels up as high as possible. Firmly, digging the balls of your feet into the floor. Imagine you are in a car merging onto a busy highway. You need speed. You are pressing the gas pedal all the way to the floor. Push it down. Squeeze that calf muscle hard at the top. You should feel the muscle ball up on the back of your leg. That squeeze, that is you manually pumping blood out of the deep veins. Now, get a rhythm going. Rock back and forth. Toes up, heels up. Toes up, heels up. Do not just wiggle your feet lazily. Be intentional. Full range of motion. Up as high as you can, down as hard as you can. Do this rhythmically. You are not just stretching, you are mechanically forcing the valves to open and close. Open, close, open, close. Keep going until you feel a mild burn in the calf muscle. That burn is good. That burn means the muscle is using oxygen, the pump is online, and the pressure in your ankle is dropping. If you do this for just 1 minute every hour while you are watching TV, you can significantly reduce the pressure in your legs. It is the single most effective thing you can do while sitting. Safety. Stop immediately if you feel any sharp pain or severe cramping. If you have a history of blood clots, DVT, or balance issues, talk to your clinician before starting any new movement. But for most people, this is the safest, most effective way to dump the pressure out of the legs without standing up. Micro-CTA. If you want more of these lazy exercises that you can do right from your chair to save your health, exercises for your back, your hips, and your circulation, hit that subscribe button right now. We have a whole library of low-impact movements coming up that can change your life without making you sweat. Section 7, the elevation mistake. You are doing it wrong. Now, let's talk about what happens when you stop moving. You have probably been told 1,000 times by doctors to elevate your legs, right? It is the standard advice. So here is the scenario. You sit on the couch at the end of the day. Your legs feel heavy, swollen, maybe a little achy. You put your feet up on a footstool or maybe on the coffee table. You lean back and think, I'm elevating. I'm doing the right thing. I hate to break it to you, but that is doing almost zero for the physics of your blood flow. Think about the plumbing again. Water does not run uphill. Water barely runs on flat ground. If your feet are on a footstool, they are usually level with your hips. The pipe is horizontal. The blood is still just sitting there. It might not be pooling as badly as when you were standing, but it isn't draining either. It is stagnant. Gravity is the enemy here, and to beat gravity, you have to get aggressive. You have to use gravity against itself. To actually drain that fluid, stop the rust, and reduce the swelling, your ankles must be above the level of your heart. We need a slope. We need the fluid to slide down from your feet to your hips and then to your heart. Try. This is the 15-minute drain. Lie flat on your couch or your bed. Do not prop your head up with 5 pillows so you can watch TV. Lay flat on your back. Take 3 thick pillows, not 1, not 2, but 3, or use the arm of the couch and a pillow. Stack them up at the foot of the bed. Put your feet on top of that tower. You want a steep anvil. Your feet should be significantly higher than your nose. If you look down your body, you should be looking up at your toes. Stay there for 15 minutes. That's it. You don't need to sleep like that all night. That's uncomfortable and bad for your back. Just 15 minutes is enough to empty the venous system. You will physically feel the difference. You might feel a coolness or a lightness in your ankles as the blood drains out. It is like unclogging a drain. Doing this once a day, maybe while you listen to a podcast, an audiobook, or just rest your eyes, is more effective than sitting with your feet on a stool for 5 hours. Safety. A critical warning here. If you have heart failure, CHF, or difficulty breathing when you lie flat, this position might not be safe for you because it dumps a lot of fluid back to the heart very quickly, which can overwhelm a weak heart. Please ask your doctor before you try this extreme elevation if you have any heart conditions. Section 8. The skin barrier. No scabs allowed. Let's go back to the stain itself. We established you can't scrub it off, but you also need to treat that patch of skin like it is made of wet tissue paper. Because of the poor blood supply, that brown skin is malnourished. It is fragile. It is weak. A tiny scratch from a pet jumping on your lap, a nick from a razor while shaving, or even dry, cracking skin can cause a massive problem. The biggest enemy here is itching. When blood pools in the skin, it creates inflammation. Inflammation itches. It is a deep, nagging itch that makes you want to dig your fingernails in. This condition is called stasis dermatitis. If you scratch it, you break the surface. If you break the surface, you get a venous ulcer. Your number one job, your sacred duty to your legs, is to keep that skin flexible and stop the itch without scratching. Think of it like old antique leather. If you leave old leather out in the sun, it dries up, curls, and cracks. If you oil it, it stays tough and flexible. You need to be the oil. But be careful, that skin is sensitive. Most commercial products are actually harmful to this specific type of damaged skin. Do not use 1. Fancy lotions with fragrances. Anything that smells like spring meadow, vanilla bean, or lavender mist. The chemicals that make the smell will burn the sensitive skin and cause an allergic reaction. 2. Anti-itch creams with alcohol. Many creams contain alcohol, which dries the skin out further, creating a vicious cycle of more itching and more cracking. 3. Topical antibiotics like Neosporin. Unless a doctor specifically tells you to use it for an infection, avoid these for daily maintenance. Many people develop contact allergies to neomycin over time, which makes the redness worse. Try. Go simple, go boring, go old school. Use plain petroleum jelly, Vaseline, or a thick, unscented moisturizing cream. Look for the words ointment or emollient rather than lotion. Here is the difference. Lotions are water-based. They evaporate quickly. Ointments are oil-based. They stay. Apply it gently. Do not rub hard right after you shower while your skin is still a little damp. This locks the moisture in. You are building a suit of armor over that fragile skin to prevent it from cracking. If it doesn't break, it won't ulcerate. Section 9. Loop resolution. The breakfast fix. Okay, remember that vein cement I told you about earlier? The secret ingredient to strengthen your pipe walls from the inside so they stop leaking that rust-causing blood? The compound is called rutin. Rutin is a powerful bioflavonoid. It is a cousin to vitamin C. In multiple scientific studies, rutin has been shown to protect the lining of your blood vessels. It reduces inflammation, and most importantly, it reduces capillary permeability. In plain English, it tightens the weave of the net. It seals the leaks. It helps the vein walls resist the pressure so they don't weep fluid into your skin. So, where do you get it? You can find it in apples, but only if you eat the skin, and in figs. But the absolute highest dietary source, the undisputed champion of vein health, is buckwheat. Now, don't let the name fool you. Despite the name, buckwheat is not actually wheat. It is not a grain. It's a seed. It is related to rhubarb. It is completely gluten-free, and it acts like medicine for your veins. Historically, cultures in Eastern Europe and Asia have eaten buckwheat for centuries. But here in the West, most of us start our day with white bread, a bagel, or cornflakes. These foods spike your sugar and do absolutely nothing for your veins. In fact, the sugar inflammation makes your veins worse. Swapping your breakfast toast for a warm bowl of buckwheat groats gives you a direct, concentrated dose of this vascular support. It has a nutty, earthy flavor that is delicious with a little cinnamon. Try. Aim to include buckwheat in your diet 3 to 4 times a week. You can buy buckwheat groats, often called kasha, at almost any grocery store. You cook it just like rice or oatmeal. And here is the pro tip. Rutin works synergistically with vitamin C. They are best friends. They help each other work better. So have your bowl of buckwheat with some blueberries, strawberries, or even a squeeze of lemon. By combining them, you are supercharging the absorption. You are literally eating to build stronger pipes. Safety. While food is generally safe, if you are taking blood thinners like warfarin, Coumadin, always check with your doctor before making major changes to your diet or taking concentrated rutin supplements. Rutin is so effective at improving blood flow that it can technically affect how your blood clots, so you want to keep your doctor in the loop. Section 10, the wet warning, urgent red flag. Before we wrap up, I need to give you a very serious warning. There is a difference between a stain and an emergency. The brown stain is a chronic warning sign. It says, hey, pay attention to me, I'm struggling. But if that skin ever changes texture and becomes wet, you are in the danger zone. If you notice the brown skin starts weeping clear or yellowish fluid that soaks through your sock, if the area becomes hot to the touch, if it turns bright red and that redness starts spreading up your leg, if it becomes incredibly painful to touch, the skin barrier has failed. This is often the start of cellulitis, a serious bacterial infection, or an active venous ulcer. You cannot treat this at home with drugstore antibiotic cream. You cannot wait and see. You cannot say, I'll wait until Monday to call the doctor. Infection in these legs spreads fast because the circulation is so poor. The good guys, white blood cells, can't get there fast enough to fight the bacteria because of the traffic jam in your veins. If you see wetness or feel heat or see spreading redness, you need to see a wound care specialist or go to urgent care immediately. Speed is everything. Catching it on day 1 means a simple dressing and maybe some oral antibiotics. Catching it on week 3 could mean months of recovery, hospitalization, and dangerous complications. Do not gamble with this. Section 11, the long game wrap-up. Here is the reality, and I want to be honest with you because I respect you too much to sell you a fairy tale. That brown stain is a tattoo of past damage. Even if you do everything right, even if you pump the calves every hour, elevate your legs properly, eat the buckwheat, and moisturize religiously, the color might not go away completely. The iron deposit is deep in the dermis. It is stubborn, and that is okay. Your goal isn't to have the pristine ankles of a teenager. Your goal is structural integrity. You want skin that doesn't break. You want legs that don't feel heavy and tired at the end of the day. You want to stay mobile, independent, and free from wounds. If you respect the rust, keep the second heart pumping, and protect that skin barrier, you can stop the progression. You can keep walking without pain. You can prevent that stain from turning into a tragedy. Now, if you found this helpful, you need to see our next guide. It dives deeper into the specific foods that clog your veins versus the ones that clear them. We talked about buckwheat, but there are 3 health foods that are actually destroying your circulation that you probably have in your fridge right now. It is called brown stains on your ankles, the vascular warning sign you can't scrub off. And it has some crucial information on what to avoid at the grocery store. You can watch it by tapping the card on your screen right now. Keep your circulation flowing, and I'll see you there.